Alright guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show where you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Today we have a nice 16 team slate, 8 game slate here. Joined as always with Chris. Got some success to go over. How are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing well. Excited for the weekday, first weekday here. So we got a nice slate. I'm excited.
You're excited for a Monday? Most people hate Mondays.
Yeah, I like the Mondays more. I like the weekdays more. You can get some more action.
Yeah, slate wise, yeah, for sure. What do we? I hope everything works fine today. I think it is. I think this will be the first day everything's working fine in our studio, back at 100% after the Top Shot stuff. But yeah, let's open up some success stuff over in the Discord. Let's get into that. You can see everything fine today, right, Chris? You can hear everything. All good on your end?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So we got some success here. I don't think we went over this one. This was yesterday, 246. That was probably a bit after the show. With Brandon here, 345 into 700. This is just the early slate here. DK. Did you end up playing this one, Chris? This is a pretty solid result here.
Yeah, I played this one as well. We'll see it in a few posts here.
Nice. Shout out to Brandon. That's solid stuff. Can't believe I'm the only one who reacted. That's unreal. Probably just a lot of success going on. But we have 8 in here, 20 to 40. Same slate here. Got the hug. 20 bullets into the early contest. Not bad. Made money. So good to see that. DK action as well. A bit more than broke even. Still solid though. And we got Nick here, 21.42. Solid $1 into $2. Solid stuff there. Got Snow as well, 20.43. Awesome stuff. Got Chris here. This is the one, right? 363, 531.
Yeah.
Did you send this contest or just the main slate?
No, I just sent the main slate.
Yeah. Was this the straight optimal? Is this the same as Brandon's here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid stuff there. Do you prefer playing like the early slates ever, or do you always like the main slates, or is it just wherever the action is mostly for you?
Depends on the day. Like usually on Sundays, there's two separate sets of games, early games and then later games. So they don't combine the slates. So I usually play both.
Gotcha. We got FanDuel here early as well, 400 into 501. So this was cutting it tight on FanDuel. Did something not go your way? Did Walker get injured, or what happened here?
I'm not sure. It's just like on these smaller slates, everyone has the same team, so it's usually why I don't play too many of them. But yeah, I think just everyone had the same team.
Do you know how many games this was? Was this like the two early ones, or 3? Was it?
I think it was 4 games, but there was like OKC news, so everyone was on them. Only spend ups were Bam and Butler, so everyone was on them. Brown as well, so it was very chalky.
Got it. We have Mike here. What is this? This is some NASCAR. Was it trucks? It wasn't trucks, was it?
No, it was just NASCAR.
Just regular old NASCAR. 62, 180. That's awesome. Love to see that. We got the fraud screenshot. Is he talking about this one here?
I don't know. Is he? What happened?
Well, because I don't know how to get the screenshot. Do you only get this when you win first? I haven't seen that in a while. I need to play on DK. I think he is. That's good. We got Dakota here, 323 into 640. NBA, NHL, probably some other sports, but that's solid stuff there. That's a good one for sure. Got Mike here, 44.85. NBA here. I mean, this is quite a lot of success, actually. I don't think we should go over it. Let's just scroll through. We got Snow here. Got 8 in here. Every slate, every sport. What else do we have? There's just a lot of action here. Got Deshaun with this screenshot again. I guess it's not the fraudulent one. This is a real thing. I guess when you get first, they show this when you open up the contest, maybe. That's awesome stuff. FanDuel as well. Turn and burn. What did he get up to? First place. Yeah, regular turn and burn things over there. Good results, guys. This is awesome. Brandon again here. What is this? 500 to 740. Good to see that. Nick here. There's just a lot of stuff, Chris. It's a lot of posts, lots of slates, lots of different sports, lots of different slate types for each sport, different sites. Like, there's just a lot of stuff you can do every day. It's crazy. I'll have to see it. Before we get into, let's scroll up to your contest. Actually, we can go through those. Then we got some chat we can get into. So you linked your FanDuel. I guess you didn't cash here. Okay, let's get into your FanDuel, Chris. This was the main slate yesterday. Maybe I can open up. Is there anyone that you would like to open up to compare that one? Is there like an RG train or something?
Yeah, we can look at it after. I just want to go over my team first.
Okay.
Yeah. So had a really bad night yesterday on FanDuel. Bunch of things went wrong. Josh Jackson and Sadiq Bey mainly. I think they combined for like one for 20 from the field. So that was awful. Josh Jackson was my low-owned guy here. He sucked. Schroeder was also pretty low-owned. Kyrie was the pivot there. Kyrie went off. So everything kind of sucked here. In hindsight, probably should have pivoted off of these Pistons guys once we got the Elfrid Payton news. That was pretty big. Could have went on to quickly. He sucked as well, but I think that would have been a better play. Or THT, he was right there. I think that was also a better play than jamming in Josh Jackson. So didn't love that. Everything else was pretty solid. Like, didn't mind Schroeder. Obviously didn't do too well, but didn't mind that play at all. Luka, Harden, favorite studs. Rui, liked him a lot as well. Kristaps, didn't love him. Maybe I shouldn't have played him as well. That game blew out. He got 35 in 3/4, so he wasn't the worst play ever. Maxey, solid as usual. Just always a little too cheap on FanDuel. When we don't have other value guys, he's always there at power forward for us. Always seems to get there as well, so I like that a lot. He was 70%, so it didn't really matter. And then Jarrett Allen here, liked him a lot as well. 37 fantasy points, so he got there. But yeah, mainly this shooting guard 2 position and point guard 2 is where and probably power forward 1 with Porzingis is where I went wrong.
Yeah, surprised we didn't get Kuzma. Because you always used to say this, like whenever one of AD or LeBron is out, we love to play Kuzma. What was up with the Kuzma decision yesterday on FanDuel?
I mean, he's 6K, like he's not 4K anymore. One of the worst matchups against the Phoenix Suns. He wasn't a bad play, but just wasn't landing there. But yeah, he did as expected. Like, that's what we projected him for.
And then THT, was there a decision with him on your end? Like, what were your thoughts on THT yesterday on FanDuel?
Yeah, I should have played him. That was something I did wrong. Definitely shouldn't have locked in Josh Jackson in the first game here, especially when we got that Elfrid Payton news.
Was that just some oversight, or was there a reason you were concerned about THT at 4K here?
No, I like Josh Jackson. I like the matchup.
Got it.
4.8K. He was only $800 more than THT.
Yeah.
THT wasn't starting, so I mean, I don't know. I was fine with that at the time, but just looking back, it's something I probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah, just wondering about your process, seeing if you would adjust something next time or anything like that. But it seems like you did like Josh Jackson in that spot yesterday.
Yeah, but I definitely would have adjusted. I wouldn't have locked in I knew he was going to be pretty low owned. I wouldn't have locked him in early, first game of the slate if I went back and did it again.
Got it. Makes sense. That's why we do our homework here. DK then, let's open that up. Did you post your DK winnings here or no? Did you win on DK?
No, I didn't post them, but yeah, I did win. So yeah, here's my team. 27th place, 28th place. Obviously, this is double up, $50 double up, top 50 win. So I was pretty good here on DK. Big plays here were Sato, who was 23%, ended up going for 30. Didn't have Alex Len, who was, I think he was like 3.6K, went for 40 or 36 or something. So didn't have him. That wasn't I mean, it was fine. I was fine with that. But Sato got me there, 30 points, 23%, 4.5K. That was good enough. Then these Lakers guys, they were all chalky, so don't really need to talk about them. I think they were all obvious plays. Market in here, 5.5K, 30 fantasy points, 5.5K, like I said. So that was definitely good enough. 23%, I'll take that. And then, yeah, Luka here. This game blew out as well, so he didn't play the fourth quarter at all. So could have had a much bigger game there if that game stayed close, but I mean, he still got 53, so that was good enough. But the big thing here, like I said, was Sato, 4.5K going for 30 at 20%.
Yeah. Do you want to open up anyone else? We forgot to open up anyone on FanDuel. Do you want to look at anyone here before, Chris?
I mean, we can, but we're just going to see like people. The winners went with Kyrie at point guard 2, shooting guard 2, likely THT, and then yeah, this team pretty much is probably what I should have done with Kyrie, point guard 2, THT here at shooting guard 2, and then down from KP to Kuzma. The reason I didn't do it is because I liked Rui Hachimura a lot in this matchup, but Joe Harris here did well also. But yeah, in hindsight, this other team here definitely looks a lot better construction wise.
Yeah. Okay. DK, do you want to go over anyone or no?
I mean, we can, but we would have to view the head to head. Like, I mean, we could look here at 17th place. A lot of people landed on this team. So yeah, this was the second optimal. It had OG and Alex Len instead of OG, Alex Len, and Kristaps instead of like Sato. I don't know. If you click view head to head, we'll be able to see it easier.
Let's see if this works.
Yeah, and then change from Papa Gates. Wrong guy.
Who do you
Club
want?
in. Yeah, so this 3v3 with KP. Yeah, so I was fine with either side here. I like the Chicago Detroit game a lot. Well, not a lot, but I was fine with it. I always like Chicago games. But obviously it only went for 186 total, so that wasn't great there. But I mean, we were still able to win here on DK with this lineup. Montrezl Harrell did fine, 40 fantasy points. I think he was like 57% owned. OG here went crazy, like 4 stocks. So yeah, I didn't mind either side of this 3v3. Just felt a little safer with my side, just because I didn't love Alex Len. He went for 37, 10x, which I mean can't rely on that. Like he was playing very well. But I think that was more of an outlier. Obviously, my Sato game here for 30 points is an outlier as well. But yeah, I didn't mind both of these sides.
Yeah. I think OG had like a slow start to the game. I remember looking at his stats at like half. I think he wasn't doing too great, but definitely got there at the end. Yeah, let's load up the slate here. Let's see the chat actually. I haven't touched on that yet. So we have Austin in here. He says beer in hand, ready to go on a Monday. That's awesome. VN Jones has his vodka. He says ready to go as well. Excited for the slate. Let's see. VN Jones says I'm going to finish in the top half of the bracket challenge as long as I'm not a bottom feeder. How's the bracket doing, Chris, actually? Who's winning right now? Is it Austin?
We can pull it up. We can take a look.
I don't have it I'm not logged in there.
You can log in.
I don't know my password.
You can find your password. It doesn't take long. It probably takes 10 seconds.
Okay, give me a second. Let's see. What's the link to the thing? Can't even find the link. Do you have the link?
Yeah, I'll link you here. Let me see. There. Discord.
Don't think I can find the password. Let's see. Searching for ESPN, I can't find it. Is it like Disney or something?
Yeah, it might be. Do you even need to be logged in to view that page?
I don't think so. Let me check. No.
Yeah, I don't think you need to.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so it looks like I think Dakota's currently at the top because Austin here with Iowa. He can't win with Iowa. You can see the max column there. It says 860. So I think he's done there. I like Dakota's bracket. He's currently far ahead. I think with 1660 potential. I think he has his final four still intact. Um, yeah, I think he's leading us right now. Also Brandon there. I think seventh place or whatever. Camera's blocking it, but he has 1610 maximum remaining. Ian Jones as well, 1570. So I think these guys are like they're at the top currently. Um, I would say Dakota is currently my favorite to win it all.
Yeah, how's he so good? What did he do?
Well, he still has his final four intact. In his Elite Eight, he only has Florida knocked out right now. If you scroll down, let's see who else he has. Yeah, he also has Oklahoma State knocked out, but he still has six of his eight Elite Eight teams remaining, and then all four of his final four teams. So I mean, this one's looking good for sure.
That's nice. Okay, let's get into the slate. Let's see what we have here. Rondo says 3 days until the NBA trade deadline. Can't wait. Are we gonna do a live trade deadline show, Chris? 24-hour live stream.
No, definitely not.
I think we should. David Correa says Alex Len any center versus Nets. Brown any center versus Cat.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it could have been Rolo, could have been Wagner if they put him in for a few minutes and then he ended up playing well. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Austin says, not anymore. Iowa got me today. Rondo says, lost my AirPods today. Hopefully using the optimizer will get me money for new ones. How do you lose your AirPods?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. He doesn't really leave the house, so I mean, not sure how.
Exactly what I was thinking. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, I was wondering how do you lose them at home?
Well, if they're at home, then that's a good thing.
Yeah, they're just at home. They're probably in a pocket somewhere. But yeah, Chris, let's get into the slate here. Let's win some money. Let's get into some secret plays. Find the hidden gems in the slate today. Find the best plays. All that stuff that we do here every day. So what's your favorite news here so far? Favorite teams to target? Any stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's the Bucks stuff with Giannis out. So I have a bunch of interest in Drew, Middleton, Bobby Portis. Those are the main guys that we're kind of building around on both sides.
Okay, let's get right into it with our first game: Sacramento Kings, Cleveland Cavaliers. Sacramento side, what's this guy's name? Jamias Ramsey. He is out. Chimezie Metu also out. Love these names here on Sacramento. Projected starters: De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, and Rashawn Holmes. Wanted to ask you, Chris, about Tyrese. 5-5 here. There was a stretch where he was doing really well earlier. I don't know what's going on actually with the site. Something's off. But there was a stretch where he was doing well earlier, I think prior to the All-Star break. I think he has still on a minutes restriction, but just wondering, do you think he can get back to that form, or is that kind of like a outlier performance there for a few games?
I mean, I kind of hope he doesn't. I was betting a lot on Anthony Edwards winning Rookie of the Year yesterday once we got the LaMelo news. So I'm hoping Halliburton doesn't kind of get back to form, but I think he will be. I think he's a really good player, but he's still on the restriction, so it's really hard to play him. So I'm not on him. Maybe on DK where he's 5.5K, or let's see, actually, yeah, 5.5K. I think that's a decent play over there if you're looking for a last piece. Not a great matchup against Cleveland, but Sacramento plays fast themselves, so I mean, I don't hate that. My favorite guy here is going to be De'Aaron Fox, 8.9K on FanDuel, 9-1 on DK. I think that's a decent play. I'm probably not going to land there in cash games, but I think in tournaments, De'Aaron Fox is always in play. Likely going to have like Sexton or Garland guarding him, so I think that Fox could have a big game here. He's been playing well recently. Had a down game last time out. They got blown out against Philly. But other than that, he's been putting up like 45 plus in his last, I don't know, last month or so. So he's a really good play. I like him a lot in tournaments, but like I said, in cash games, probably not going to land there today.
Yeah. Does the stats work right now for you, Chris, or does it look weird? I think we might have broke it last night.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I gotta fix that up. So I guess I won't use that today. Yeah, so you're not banking on Tyrese coming back to form? You don't think so?
No, I think he will. He's just on a restriction, so it's hard to play someone on a minutes restriction.
Yeah, fair. So other half here, Cleveland side, Torian Prince out, Andre Drummond out, Matthew Dellavedova out, Kevin Love out, and Darius Garland is questionable. We need to free Drummond, Chris. Trade deadline coming up. Hopefully he gets unleashed. NBA fans deserve Andre Drummond. Projected starters on the Cavs: Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaiah Okoro, Larry Nance Jr., and Jarrett Allen. Who do you like here on the Cavs, Chris? Saw them play the Raptors the other day, had the win over there. Anybody that stands out here?
Yeah, so I don't think that Drummond's going to be freed. Sort of a similar situation to Kyle Lowry. Like, they're just way too expensive. I don't think teams can afford that. If maybe in the buyout market they'll try to do that if they can, but I don't think these guys are going to be traded. They're just way too expensive. But yeah, today we have this matchup against the Kings for the Cavs, so I always like that matchup. These Cavs guys, they're kind of expensive. Like Jarrett Allen, he's priced up now a little, 6-7 on FanDuel now. DraftKings 7-6, so definitely can't play him on DK. I think on FanDuel he's still a decent play over there. In tournaments, he's just not popping that much because we have Moses Brown at center. Al Horford's obviously resting once again, so Jarrett Allen isn't popping today like he was yesterday. I think the main guy here is probably going to be Darius Garland, just because he's the cheapest one. On FanDuel, he's questionable though, so that's a little bit of a concern. It's the first game of the slate, so we should know before. We'll probably know in 7 minutes once we get that injury report. So if he does end up playing, I do like the price tag on FanDuel a lot for 5.5K. Sexton in tournaments, I think, is a decent option. He's kind of priced down from what he was in the past week. So he's 7-3 on FanDuel, 7-1 on DK. I think he's a decent play in tournaments. And then Larry Nance, he's also kind of priced up now, 6-1 on DK. That's just too expensive for me. On FanDuel, he's 5-6, so I guess that's not awful, but we're kind of loaded at small forward today, so we don't need to go there, in my opinion. So I'll say Garland is my favorite guy here in FanDuel cash, no one in DraftKings cash, and then Sexton in tournaments on both sites.
Got it. Okay, let's load up the next game here. Got some chat. Let's see what's going on there. Rondo says AirPods probably in the washing machine. So they are at home, Chris. Lost at home. What else? Vian Jones says Moses will lead us to the promised land tonight. You like that one, Chris?
Yeah, he's going to be very highly owned, though. That's the thing. Yeah.
Dakota says there's a report of the Kings. The Kings offered Bagley to the Pistons for Sadiq Bey. That was declined. What do you think of that one, Chris?
Yeah, that would be pretty bad. Like, fourth, or what was he, second overall pick, Bagley? Maybe third for Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey is a good player, but yeah, if you're getting declined in a trade for Sadiq Bey when you're the second, third overall pick, you don't have it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad actually. Vian Jones says NBA fans don't need Drummond. DFS fans need Drummond.
Yeah, that's a fact right there.
I don't know this. Yeah, that's true. Can't say I like watching Drummond play. He always brings the ball like up half court, does like a through the legs dribble move for no reason, just dribbles it for no reason, hands it off to a point guard, and then just hovers around the 3-point line. Huh?
You're turning on him.
That's how he plays. Like he always does like, I don't know, like he always does like a behind the back pass or like some like he thinks he's like a point. I don't know. He's just funny to watch, but definitely a solid points per minute producer fantasy wise. So I hope he goes on. I don't know what's going to happen, but he just needs like a bad team where he can just perform. I think that's the best thing for Drummond. Vian Jones says Bagley is the NBA most need freeing. He needs to be freed, Chris Bagley.
I don't know if Bagley can be freed. He always gets very unlucky with his injuries. I'll say that. I think he has a hand injury now, so always seems to get these ticky-tack injuries.
Yeah, Bagley needs to free himself. Coach says he was the worst as a Pistons fan. Would always take games off. Drummond.
Bummed.
No, that's too mean. He's not bummed. Drummond. Let's get into the next one, Chris. We have Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves, OKC side, Al Horford out, Josh Hall out, Darius Baisley out, and LeGuence Dort out, SGA probable, and then one more, George Hill, also out for them. Projected start, we have talks about Moses already, so let's get into it.
Yeah, so it's going to be Moses Brown for the most part here. He's 4-3 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's 5.1K. We expect him to start here. He's been playing really well in his starts. Went for 23 his first start, so I mean that was his first start. He was just getting accustomed to things, but went for 50 the next game. Then after that, Al Horford was back, so he didn't play that much the next game. And then last game, he went for 34 in his start without Al Horford. So he's just way too cheap here. In my opinion, we get this matchup against the Timberwolves, which we always love to target. So he's going to be probably a lock for me, a near lock for me on both sides. Just really easy to get to him. He opens things up. So he's one of my favorite cash plays here on the Thunder. And then SGA is the other guy, specific to FanDuel, where he's 7.4K. On DraftKings, I think he's 8.3K, so it's harder to play him there. But I do think this 7.4K price tag on FanDuel is just way too cheap. That's a lock for me. I currently have him in my core, so I love that price tag. And yeah, it's just those two guys for me.
Okay. Vian Jones says Svi as well for value with Dort out. Chris, thoughts on Svi?
I'm fine with him. I played him last time with SGA out as well. Only played 20 minutes. That was the problem, but he produced. I don't know. We'll have to see who they start. Like, I don't expect them to start Svi here in place of Dort. If they start someone bigger, probably expect Kenrich Williams or maybe Ty Jerome. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see who they start. But yeah, I do think Svi is a decent tournament option, but I don't think we need it for value in cash games on this giant slate.
Yeah. Minnesota side, we have Malik Beasley suspended still, so he's out for, I think, three more games. Expected to be back on the 27th. D'Angelo Russell out, as always, for the Timberwolves. Jordan McLaughlin out. Hopefully I said that right. Jared Culver, questionable. Projected starters, Ricky Rubio, Ant-Man, Josh Okogie, Catman, and McDaniels. Who do you like here on the Timberwolves, Chris?
Yeah, so they have a pretty high implied team total at 118 right now. Anthony Edwards, he's kind of priced up now, so I don't love playing him. I think he's a better play on DK, where he's 7.2K. Wouldn't do it in tournaments, but I think in cash game. Wouldn't do it in cash games, but I think in tournaments, he's pretty interesting. Like, we've seen him go or shoot 30 times in a game. So I mean, he's very aggressive. He's not afraid to shoot, not afraid to miss. So he definitely has that upside if his shot is falling. So I do like him a lot in tournaments. I like the 7.2K price tag there on DK in tournaments, like I said. But the main guy here is going to be Cat, 9.5 on DraftKings, 9.7 I think on FanDuel. Had a lot of interest in him on FanDuel before we got the Al Horford news. Same thing on DraftKings before we got this Moses Brown value at center. So I'm not playing him on FanDuel anymore, but I think on DK, where he's 9.5K, he's still very interesting there in cash games. Definitely not ruling him out of my lineup. Currently don't have him, but I do think he's a good option. But I like him more in tournaments, though. I think he could go for 60 fantasy points here in this matchup, so I like him a lot there. And yeah, that's probably pretty much it for the Timberwolves. Just those two guys up top for them.
Okay. Back on the OKC side, Chris, David Cree is asking about Roby.
Roby, I'm fine with him. So he's 5'6" on DraftKings now. FanDuel, he's 4.7K. So the FanDuel price tag is definitely better. The thing is, we have a ton of value here today. Like, we have all these Bucks guys. We have Bobby Portis at power forward, who's a lock, 3.7K. We have this Moses Brown value as well. So power forward is kind of a spend up spot outside of Bobby Portis. That's why it's kind of hard to land on Roby.
Yep. Okay, let's go into the next one. Charlotte Hornets, San Antonio Spurs. Charlotte side first. This one hurts. LaMelo Ball out for them. Hopefully the second opinion says otherwise, but I think it's for the season. Do you know anything about that? Like, what's the second opinion stuff? Like, maybe he'll come back and play? Or do you think absolutely no?
No, didn't they rule him out?
What I'm seeing is they're looking for a second opinion. I'm not sure what that means. Like, a second opinion for what?
Yeah, I think they always do that just to make sure. But I mean, if you're diagnosed with a fractured wrist, he's definitely not coming back here. He's their future. There's really no reason for them to rush it. I mean, it's a joint injury, so that could really mess him up if he continues to, I don't know, play later in the season when it's not fully healed. So definitely, I think he's out for the year for sure. We've had reports that he's out for the year, so no need to put on my tinfoil hat here and say otherwise. But yeah, there is some value here with LaMelo out. So
well,
these
let me go
guards
through
are
it.
pretty-
I didn't go through
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say about LaMelo. Hopefully the fractured wrist thing is wrong. Hopefully that diagnosis is off. That doctor gets fired. But yeah, looking like no. But yeah, we have Terry Rozier probable for them. Cody Zeller out. And then projected starters Devontae Graham, Rozier, Hayward, Washington, and Biyombo. So yeah, with LaMelo out, Chris, did they adjust the prices accordingly so far or still no?
No, this slate was put up before we got the news. So I mean, everyone is still priced down. So Devontae Graham, I'll start with him. He's 4.8 on DK. FanDuel, he's 4.3. But the thing on FanDuel is that he's a shooting guard. Like I said, we have so much value here. It's kind of hard to play him with all this Bucks value with Moses Brown at center. Those guys are so cheap that it kind of opens up spend ups everywhere else. We don't have studs to choose from today. Like Luka played yesterday, Harden played yesterday. Pretty much all the studs played yesterday. Jokic played yesterday as well. Giannis obviously out today, so we don't have any studs. That's why we don't need the value as much on FanDuel. It's pretty much a mid-range build. A lot of guys in the 8K range today. And then same thing on DK. But on DK, where you can play him at multiple positions, that's where he's more interesting for me personally for 4.8K. Even though it's more expensive, I think he's a better play there. So I like him a lot there for 4.8K. I expect him to rejoin the starting lineup. We've seen him play pretty well in his starts, definitely well enough to pay off this price tag. So I like him there on DK. I like him on FanDuel as well. Just like I said, you're getting off of other value that I think is better if you're playing him there at shooting guard. So I'm currently not doing that. And then other than him, I think Terry Rozier also gets a big bump here. He's 5.9K on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he is 6.6K, so much more expensive there. But he's a shooting guard on FanDuel as well, so it's hard to play him there in my opinion. I do think both of these two guards are really good tournament options without LaMelo. So if you want to go there in tournaments, no problems there. But I think Devontae Graham is the main guy in cash games for me on DraftKings.
Yep. You're saying about Devontae Graham being tough to get on FanDuel with there being better value plays there at the shooting guard slot. Do you think that makes him an interesting tournament play there, or do you think he'll still be high owned in tournaments?
No, I think people will still play him. Like, he's the obvious guy that gets the bump. He's the cheapest one. So I do expect him to be popular. Just not currently landing on him myself. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I actually want to mention Gordon Hayward as well. I think he could have a big game here. I like him a lot in tournaments. He's had a lot of down games recently. only been putting up like 30 fantasy points. And then he had two outliers of 50, but he had 5 steals in the first game and then 4 steals in the other game. So hasn't been doing too much outside of scoring, really. So I think without LaMelo there, he could definitely pick up the slack with assisting, more rebounds as well. So I do like him a lot in tournaments here as well.
Okay. San Antonio side, we have LMA Aldridge out for them. Keita, Bates, Diop out. DeJounte Murray back in. Patty Mills back in. Projected starters: DeJounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Thoughts here on the Spurs side of this game, Chris?
Yeah, no one here for me. Just like DeMar, I think he's a decent play. Just never really like landing there. They could go to DeJounte. DeJounte could have a huge game. So it's, I don't know. I don't love playing the Spurs. I try to avoid it whenever I can. So don't have any interest here in the Spurs tonight.
Okay. Next game, Indiana Milwaukee. So we did get some news here on the 2:30 Pacific time injury report. Some questionable tags on the Indiana side. So I think we got, let's just go through it. We got Malcolm Brogdon questionable, Miles Turner questionable, Jalen LeQuay. I don't know who that is. Do you know him, Chris?
No.
Yeah, he's probable for them. And then we have Jakar Sampson, also probable for Indiana. I think that's it. Projected starters over there. Let me load that up. We have Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Yeah, we have, so the Turner and Brogdon questionable tags, Chris. Are those new? First you heard of them, or somewhat expected?
Yeah, those are brand new. Turner got hurt yesterday during the game. He went out, but he came back in. I assume this has something to do with that. So if I had to guess, I would say that Turner doesn't play here, but I mean, who knows? These late downgrades usually indicate that they're not going to play. So I would kind of expect both of them not to play. But I mean, if their list is questionable, it's hard to really do anything with that news. So we're going to just have to wait until this game, or until we get the news before we can make a decision here. So it's definitely looking like a late swap slate here, just because these are two of their main guys. Like if Turner's out, Sabonis just becomes a lock. If Brogdon's out, TJ McConnell becomes a lock. Karis LeVert becomes a really good play as well on FanDuel for 5-6. So we'll get into. Have we gotten into them so far?
Who, Indiana?
Yeah, are we talking about them now?
Yeah, we're talking. Indiana's the team we're going over, Chris.
So you got the starters?
Yeah.
So I guess, like I was saying, if Brogdon is out, TJ McConnell will become a lock. Karis LeVert, 5-6 on FanDuel, likely going to become a great play as well. He's 6-4 on DK, so they priced him down a little bit. So yeah, this news is definitely going to change the slate if we get news that one of these guys are out. And then if both of them are out, it's just going to completely change the slate. So definitely going to have to wait for this news before we can make a decision here. If I had to guess, I would say that, I would guess that both of them are going to be out. So if you want to try to lock in someone like TJ McConnell early before we get that news, I think that's not a bad idea. Just because we've seen him in this situation with Brogdon out. We've seen him play like 46 minutes. He's always been a good point per minute guy, so I expect him to start for Brogdon if we get the news that Brogdon is ruled out. So yeah, we'll just have to wait here.
Okay. Just wanted to say, Chris, on DK, we have to adjust Giannis to 0. I think he's at 15 right now. Projected fantasy points. Not sure about FanDuel. I don't think I see him here. But yeah, Milwaukee side, we have Kurucs out, Giannis out. So the Giannis thing's obviously a big one. Projected starters, just Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, and Brooke Lopez. We do have the Holiday brothers facing up against each other today, Chris. Is that a narrative-worthy comment there?
We're not playing Drew Holiday for the narrative here today. We're gonna play him because Giannis is out, so he's gonna be a lock for me on both sites. So I love Drew here.
Does the narrative intrigue you at all?
it doesn't matter. Like he's a lock anyways. If we get news that Aaron Holiday is starting on the other side, then maybe that's definitely going to be intriguing. If Brogdon is ruled out and they start Aaron Holiday, he's minimum price on both sides, I think. So I think on DK he'll definitely become a play if he's starting. But yeah, can't bank on that news. And then Justin Holiday, never like playing him. He's just too scoring dependent. So just Drew Holiday here for me.
But there is a chance we might see all three Holiday brothers in like a winning tournament lineup. If say Brogdon's out, Justin Holiday's shot is on. Could be.
Yeah, always possible.
Yeah, it could be. Is that it for Milwaukee though for you, Chris?
No, that's not it. So you went over the starters. Who do we have currently?
Starters for Milwaukee. One sec, let me load that back up. So we have Holiday, DiVincenzo, Middleton, Portis, and Lopez.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the big game today. This is the main game that we're going to target. So I mean, I love Drew Holiday here. I love Chris Middleton. I think they're locks on both sides. They're going to be 100% owned. It always happens when we get news that Giannis is out. So this is going to be no different here. They're locks for me. And then Bobby Portis as well. He's kind of the new guy here this year. I think he's gonna be the guy that steps in for Giannis in the starting lineup. I think we saw it in the past when Giannis has missed a game or two. Bobby Portis has stepped in, so he's going to be a lock for me on both sides as well. So it's mainly those three guys in cash games. I think they're going to be 100% owned, all three of them on both sides. And then these other guys like Dante DiVincenzo, you can play him in tournaments. His price is up just because he's been playing well recently. So I don't love that play too much, but I think he's a good tournament option. Same for Brook Lopez. Pat Connaughton on DK is kind of interesting. He's 4.2K over there. He gets a bump, obviously, as well with Giannis out. He's been playing well recently. Minutes have been pretty secure with him, so I don't mind him there on DK for 4.2K. But yeah, a lot of interest here in the Bucks.
Okay. David Cruz saying, what if they start PJ?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't, but I'll still have interest in Bobby Portis. Like, I still think he gets at least, if he comes off the bench, he'll still get at least 26 minutes. And no Giannis, so that all that usage is going to go to Bobby Portis, who's also a high usage guy. So I mean, I have no problems playing Portis for this price tag, even if he's coming off the bench.
Yeah. Vian Jones, speaking my language, he's saying, I'm telling you, play the two J Holidays. I think you could sneak in all three. I don't think it's a good play though, but you could see it.
You definitely could sneak in all three if Brogdon ends up being ruled out.
Yeah.
I honestly prefer Aaron Holiday over Justin Holiday.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, Vian Jones also says, Chris just hates Justin. I hate Aaron.
Yeah, I don't like Justin Holiday.
Yeah, Vian Jones on PJ says, PJ sucked in Houston. He's the same DFS player in Milwaukee.
Yeah, even if he's starting, we can't play that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's not gonna touch the ball, not gonna get fantasy points, most likely.
Yeah. Okay, next game we have Toronto at Houston. Toronto side, I think everyone's healthy. Nothing noted there. Projected starters, we have Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, a.k.a. Fred Van Thief, Norm Powell, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam. I mean, I'm just going to say it. The Toronto Raptor pricing is kind of ugly. Like, you could make a starting lineup here with all five guys over 7K on FanDuel. It's an interesting situation there with the pricing and the way they play. Kind of hard to choose who to get unless someone's missing. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts here are on Toronto, Chris.
Yeah, so I mean, I like the matchup a lot here against Houston. I think one of these guys will end up being in the winning tournament lineup. I mean, if I had to guess, it would probably be Fred VanVleet, or Siakam. The problem is, like you said, they're all priced as if Lowry and Siakam were still missing. Or sorry, VanVleet and Siakam were still missing, and they're healthy now. So I mean, it's hard to play more than one of these guys, but I do think that you can play Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam in a tournament lineup. Don't mind that at all in this matchup. So it's going to be those two guys. If I had to pick one, I would probably say VanVleet just because his minutes have been they've kind of returned to that 40-minute mark ever since he came back. So definitely don't mind him. I think he's a pretty good play in tournaments.
Yep. Richard's in here. What's up, Richard? He says, "Sup, guys. Think Brogdon plays."
I think he doesn't play.
Oh, you think he doesn't? You were saying Miles Turner. You don't think he does because you saw him get injured in the last game. Did you see anything with Brogdon, or you just think he's not playing?
No, I mean I was saying that usually these downgrades in the midday when they don't have a injury tag before usually means that they're out. So if I had to guess, I would say they're both out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Vian Jones says, "I think this Toronto game gets overlooked. I'm rolling Lowry in 2 of my 3 lines." Yeah, I don't mind that.
I don't like Lowry. He's 8.1K on DK. I know Vian Jones is a DK guy. He's the most expensive one. Like you can play Siakam for 7.5. You can play Fred VanVleet for 7.6. So I would rather do that than Lowry. But I do agree that this game will go overlooked. Like I said, I do think one of these guys will be in the winning lineup today.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the DK pricing. I think Fred seems like a more appealing play. And then upside for me, I'd say Siakam's price tag versus upside is definitely interesting as well over Lowry. But obviously different positions there. Other half of this game, we have Houston. So who do we have? We have Kevin Porter Jr. questionable tag, Augustine probable tag, Dante Exum out, Victor Oladipo out. So that leaves us with Wall still in, so that's good to see. Got Brown as well, projected start, Danwell House, Jason Tate, and Christian Wood. Any interest here on the Houston side, Chris?
Not really. Like John Wall is in, so we don't really want to play these value guys. One guy kind of interests me the one guy that interests me is Christian Wood. He's 8-1 on FanDuel, 8K on DK. So he was on that minutes restriction ever since he came back from that ankle injury. We saw him play 36 last game though. So I mean that's pretty interesting. The only problem was that was yesterday, so maybe they limit him with the ankle injury on a back-to-back here. But he's been playing really well in his minutes. He's always one of the best point per minute guys in the league. So if you want to play Christian Wood, no problems there. I think he's going to be pretty popular. So I like him. Love him in tournaments and cash games as well. I think he's a really good option. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Houston.
Yep. I have a comment here. Vian Jones says, K-Lo puts 50 burgers on Wall, Chris. You know that?
No, I don't know that, but he did it earlier in the season. It's obviously a revenge game 10 years later, so I mean, maybe you're onto something there. He's definitely going to be the lowest owned out of the Raptors guys on DraftKings because he's the most expensive.
Yeah, I mean, low owned is what you kind of want sometimes in the tournaments if you want to ship it. So I like it. Next game, we have the Utah Jazz, Chicago Bulls. Utah side, we have Rudy The Rock Gobert, questionable tag for him. Projected starters, Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Gobert at the 5. Any interest here, Chris, facing Chicago? We always like to target bigs against Chicago, almost anyone against Chicago. But yeah, what are your thoughts here on Utah?
Yeah, so Gobert is questionable. So it's kind of hard to play him. Like I was saying, we also have Moses Brown at center, so it's really hard to play Gobert here today. I think this game is going to go overlooked as well. I probably expect this game to blow out, honestly. So I don't love it here. Like if you want to play Donovan Mitchell, we've seen him have huge games. We know his ceiling, so I think he's a decent option. Even in a blowout, I think most of the damage will come from him. So don't hate Donovan Mitchell. Can't do it in cash games, but I do like it in tournaments. And then Gobert as well. I think he's a really good tournament option. Definitely can't do it in cash games, but he's probably going to be sub, 2-3% owned here, just because he's questionable. So if you want to kind of get one of, I think that's probably a really sneaky play. Like no one's going to play Gobert here with the questionable tag, and when we have Moses Brown with so much value, I don't think anyone's going to play him. So I do like this matchup a lot for Gobert in tournaments.
Any chances Gobert doesn't play, Chris? Is that something you'd be looking at, or do you think he is most likely in today, or don't really know?
No, I have no idea. But I mean, that's why I think he's going to be sub 2% because no one knows if he does end up playing. You get him very low owned. We've seen him go for 80 against the Warriors. So Warriors are a pretty bad matchup. Warriors are a really good matchup for Gobert. This is no different here. So we know the ceiling he has. So he's very interesting in tournaments.
Even if you leave a slot for him, you could still late swap, I'm guessing, right? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 games after or at that time. So we'd probably get that news prior to the game starting, right?
Yeah, you could definitely late swap. So, yeah, I mean, if you play him now, like your construction is going to be different. So, I don't think it's a bad idea in tournaments.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to ask, say he is out here, who would we like on Utah's side? I'm guessing it would still be a blowout in your opinion, or no?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't change anything. We have Bobby Portis at center / power forward, so we won't want to play Derek Favors if he ends up starting. He's probably going to play 16 minutes, 18 minutes if he starts. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're playing Gobert in tournaments and he ends up being ruled out, then you can play Derek Favors, who's also going to be low owned. And I don't know, I guess you'll have some upside, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Okay, let's do the Chicago side. We have Pat Williams, probable tag, Chandler Hutchinson out, and Garrett Temple doubtful. Projected starters, Thomas Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Thaddeus Young, and Lauri Markkanen. Any interest there, Chris, on Chicago?
No, I have no interest here. It's a back-to-back for them. They were just in Detroit. Now they're going to Chicago. So, I mean, it's not too far of travel, but don't love the matchup. They're pretty healthy. So, yeah, nothing here for me.
Okay, let's go into the next game. We have Boston Celtics against the Memphis Grizzlies. Boston side, we have Kemba Walker, Tristan Thompson, Romeo Langford out. Projected starters, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Semi Ojeleye, Jason Tatum, and Daniel Tice starting. Projected to start. Any interest here on the Celtics, Chris?
Yeah, so we always have interest in the Celtics whenever Kemba misses games. So today's no different. Like I was saying earlier, we don't have any studs to pay up for today, so we're kind of in this mid-range. So Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they make a lot of sense on both sites. I'll start with Brown just because I think he's more of a lock. So he's 7-8 on FanDuel, 7-9 on DK. He's just been playing very well recently. Put up 45 plus in his last 4 games. So no Kemba today. Just an increased role for Jaylen Brown. Shot has been on. Usage rate has been up recently. So I love Jaylen Brown. He's my favorite Celtic here today. But like I said, we also have Jason Tatum, 8-8 on FanDuel, 8-6 on DK. So it's a really good price tag there for Tatum as well. Not as much of a lock, like I was saying, as Jaylen Brown, but he is in a really good spot. I like him in cash games, like him in tournaments. But yeah, I prefer Brown, like I said. But it's going to be mainly these two guys that kind of benefit from the Kemba news. Like, if you want to play Marcus Smart, you can go ahead. Like he played yesterday, played 33 minutes. Obviously, he gets a bump as well with Kemba out. I'm finding trouble landing in that 5K range at shooting guard on FanDuel, and then that 5-6 range for Marcus Smart on DraftKings.
Yep. Could be an interesting tournament play though. If you have Smart in there, maybe like Smart, and if you had Gobert, something like that, maybe that would work.
I don't think you probably don't need to play both of them together. Like then you're just becoming too different. But if you're playing Marcus Smart there, I have no problems with that. If you're playing Gobert, like you don't need to get different anywhere else. You could play a chalky lineup with Gobert, and you're different enough. So definitely don't need to kind of layer these guys that are low owned.
Fair. Vian Jones loves Brown tonight. Says Tice is also a good pivot. What do you think of the Tice pivot, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good with Tice as well. Only thing with him is we've seen him. I mean, I think he's a good tournament option, but we've seen him play 10 minutes some games. Obviously, that was when Tristan Thompson was in, but we've seen Robert Williams kind of play very well. If Robert Williams is rolling, they kind of let him play. If Tice is rolling, they let him play. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. Definitely fine with it for value. just not landing there when we have Bobby Portis for a little bit cheaper. It's kind of a similar situation to Devontae Graham. Obviously, Devontae Graham is a better play, projects a lot better, but I mean, it's a similar situation where we have all this other value that kind of stands far ahead. So it's kind of hard to play him, but definitely not in a bad spot.
Yeah, for sure. Dinda says Ant-Man for the win tonight. Cool glasses emoji.
Yeah, I mean, more so on DK, like I was saying. But yeah, if he's shooting 30 shots a game, I mean, he's definitely underpriced.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in this matchup, OKC Minnesota, it's not the prettiest matchup either. So I feel like anything can go in that game. So I'm kind of interested. More of a tournament though, right? Definitely not cash for Ant-Man.
Yeah, probably not. Like, I mean, especially on FanDuel, maybe on DK if you don't want to play one of these Bucks guys. But I mean, I can't do that, so I'm not going to recommend that. You'd probably have to pivot off of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum if you wanted to do that, which I don't love either. So yeah, I can't do it in cash games.
Yeah, Vienjo's saying keyword on Tice, pivot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pivot foot. Wendy says Kawhi going to go off on the Hawks tonight. We'll get into that. Memphis side here, no news, just projected starters. John Morant, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, and Jonas Valanciunas. Any interest in the Grizzlies here, Chris, facing the Celtics?
Yeah, so I don't have too much interest in the Grizzlies side here. Haven't had much interest in them recently. Today is no different. Like it's not a great matchup against the Celtics. If they were playing the Sacramento Kings, Washington Wizards, someone like that, Chicago Bulls, I would have interest in them. But in these matchups where it's kind of a good defensive team, I have no reason to play these guys.
Okay, let's just jump into the last game here. Any sneaky picks on Memphis, Chris, before we do that? Maybe tournament picks, anything super sneaky?
No, because, I mean, they're going to get some ownership like Joe Val, John Morant. They're definitely not sneaky. They'll get some ownership, but it's just something that I'm not going to sit here and recommend today.
VN Jones saying, "What's up with Ja?" I was saying the same thing the other day. You said his injury?
No, I don't know. Like he's not hitting his shots really. I don't know. The game log's kind of ugly, but if you want to play him in tournaments, like you saying what's up with Ja makes me want to play him in tournaments. Just because, I mean, people will look at the game log, they'll say, what's up with Ja? They won't play him. So, yeah, I like him in tournaments for that reason.
Yeah, you have faith in the talent, Ja Morant. I mean, it seems like a great slot when there's a guy that you really like, has the upside. Game log is ugly. People are saying, what's up with Ja, like I just said, like VN Jones said. Yeah, I mean, that's like the time where you have him once in your tournament lineup. He does well. And then people are back on him the next time, but you kind of want to be there when you buy low.
Definitely, he's a good tournament option for sure.
Yeah. Vian Jones says Ja has sucked.
Yep.
Yeah, so this next game, Atlanta Hawks, LA Clippers. Wendy already had a comment on Kawhi saying he's going to go off on the Hawks tonight. So I guess we can start with the Clippers first. Serge Ibaka out for them. Pat Bev also out. Projected starters, Reginald Jackson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Zubac. Yeah, so Kawhi, Chris, is he going to go off on the Hawks?
I mean, I don't know. I actually prefer Paul George here. I always like to play Paul George. He does a little bit of everything. Kawhi is more scoring reliant and stocks reliant. Paul George initiates the offense. He gets assists, rebounds the ball well. Also, I mean, Kawhi does as well, but I just like the assist upside with Paul George. Obviously, he can score very well. Also, and then on top of that, he's much cheaper. I think on DK, where Kawhi is 8.9 and Paul George is 8.2, you can play Kawhi over PG there. But on FanDuel, where Kawhi is 9.5K, Paul George is 8.2K, I definitely prefer Paul George there. So he's going to be my priority LA Clipper here. So we got the news that Ibaka is going to miss this game as well. That opens up Ivica Zubac today. He's 4.5 on FanDuel, DraftKings 5.1K. I was kind of interested in him on FanDuel before we got the Al Horford news. Similar to Cat, I was kind of deciding between Cat and Zubats before. Now we have Moses Brown at center on FanDuel for 4.3K, which is just way too cheap. So it's really hard to play Zubats in cash games, but I do think he's a really good tournament option over on FanDuel. A really good pivot off of Moses Brown. Like if Cat gets Moses Brown into early foul trouble, the Zubats pivot will definitely pay off. So I like that a lot. But I prefer him a little more on DraftKings where we can play both Brown and Zubats. So I like him a lot there. He's a little more expensive at 5-1, but we've seen him play really well with Serge Ibaka out. He's been getting the starts. Didn't play too much 2 days ago against the Hornets. Only played 24 minutes because that game blew out. But in his first 2 starts against the Mavs, he played 35 minutes in both of those games. So I like him a lot for both. For his price tag on both sites. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep. Wendy says Paul George is so unpredictable, though. It says, your opinion means a lot to me, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know. Like in a close game, I don't think Paul George is too unpredictable. He's going to shoot 15 plus times per game. Going to rebound, going to assist the ball. So, I'm a Paul George fan as long as the game doesn't blow out. It seems like he always has his down games in blowouts just because the way his rotation is. Obviously, he sits first. Kawhi plays the first quarter and then third quarter. Then Paul George comes back in, I think, with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Then if it's a big blowout, he doesn't get the full allotment of minutes. I don't know. I think this game will stay close enough for Paul George to play his full amount of minutes. So I prefer him here.
Makes sense. Next half, we have Atlanta. So we have Chris Dunn out for them. Trae Young probable, DeAndre Hunter probable, and then Brandon Goodwin in for them. Projected starters, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Tony Snell, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Anybody on the Hawks that you like, Chris? Collins has been feasting recently. Insane price tag here. 3.7x value on FanDuel. That's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I can't play anyone here. Tough matchup. We have so many guys in this price range in better spots. Don't love Trae Young here. Clint Capella, same sort of thing. They're in this 8K price range, 9K price range where we just have these Bucks guys, these Celtics, Thunder guys. So it's hard to play these guys for me. I can't say I like anything here.
Nothing at all. Not even Trae Young. You always say Trae Young.
Yeah. Wait 1 second. What'd you say? Can you talk again?
Yeah, I said, what about Trae Young? You always say Trae Young.
Oh, yeah. Not today for me. Point guard, we're loaded. We have Drew Holiday. If I'm in this range, I prefer De'Aaron Fox. So, I don't love it here.
Okay. Vian Jones says, I like guys who can get me 6x value. Paul George, PG-13, hit 6x 1 out of 10 games, last 10 games. But isn't that kind of what you want? Obviously, if he was hitting 6x in the last 10 games, his price would be way up. He wouldn't be getting 6x every game. And isn't that like a buy low moment for Paul George? You want to find those gems like that, no?
Not really. When you're in this price range, you don't have guys that go 6x. I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard. He hasn't gone 6x since February 2nd, so 2 months ago. Who else is in this price range? Zach LaVine.
8K, we got Brown, I think. Brown, Tatum.
I'm on Zach LaVine here. Hasn't done 6x since February 10th.
Fox.
Fox has gone 6x. Let me see here. Fox 8-9. Yeah, Fox has gone 6x twice in the past 10 games.
Van Fleet. I don't know.
Van Vliet. Let's see here. Yeah, Van Vliet. These guys have Paul George has 50-point upside as well, but when you're in this 8K range, you're not really expecting 6x most nights. But Paul George, he definitely does have the upside to go 6x. So he's definitely not a popular name to roster in DFS, but I like him a lot. So I'm going to be on him here.
I like him because he won me my tournament season opener, Paul George, for the exact reason you said. Not a popular name to roster. So I rostered him, and that's what got me the first place prize. Um, see some comments here. Layden says, "Would you play Garland over McConnell, TJ McConnell, if Brogdon is ruled out, Chris?"
No, if Brogdon is ruled out, I would definitely not play Garland over McConnell. But I mean, that's gonna be a pretty hard decision to make, especially on FanDuel, because Garland locks first. Obviously, what's his name? TJ McConnell or Malcolm Brogdon locks at 9 p.m. Eastern. So it's gonna be a tough decision there. But I would prefer McConnell.
Okay. Wendy's saying no Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Hawks, Chris.
I don't love it. Like I can't say I love it. DeAndre Hunter is back today as well, so I mean he's a pretty big name for them on the wing. I mean Bogdan's still going to get his minutes, but yeah, I don't love it. Too scoring reliant.
Okay. Via Jones says McConnell for sure if Brogdon's out. Josh says, "Hey guys, been a while. What's up, Josh?" He says, "What do you think of my DK lineup tonight?" Just say who you don't like, Chris. So there's Graham, Middleton, Tatum, Portis, Moses, Holiday, not sure which one, Jalen Brown, and Zubats.
Yeah, I mean I love everyone there. I think he has the optimal there.
Yep. Which Holiday is it, Chris? Is it Drew?
Drew.
Yeah,
hmm
gotta be Drew. Wendy's saying, who is a good small forward in that 4-2 range on FanDuel? Let's take a look, Chris.
Well, the thing for me, if you're playing cash games, I think you got to go with Jalen Brown and Chris Middleton at small forward. But yeah, we could take a look here for value guys. It's pretty ugly. Like House, Holiday, don't love that. Maybe Monk in tournaments. If you're playing tournaments, I like that play without LaMelo Ball. Maybe he'll get a few more minutes. So I like the upside with Malik Monk. So I'll say him.
Okay. Let's get into the 3 secret plays today, 3 hidden gems. First one being safest play of the day, overall play of the day, favorite play of the day. Just the one you can't go wrong with, Chris. So start with FanDuel. Who's that guy for you today?
So on FanDuel, let's go with Chris Middleton on the cover. It's between him and Drew Holiday, but I'll say Chris Middleton here.
Okay. And then value play on FanDuel.
Value play on FanDuel. So I mean, there's a ton, but I'll go with another Milwaukee Buck. I'll go with Bobby Portis.
Okay. And then tournament play of the day on FanDuel. We had some talk about Gobert as like a solid pivot and tournament play, but I don't think that's your overall tournament play of the day. A little bit out there. Who do you have?
Yeah, so I'll go with another Raptor, or not another Raptor, but I'll go with a Raptor here. Just because I think Paul George is going to be chalky here on FanDuel, so I like Fred VanVleet as a pivot for 100 less in tournaments. So yeah, I'll say Fred VanVleet.
Okay. Run it back on DK. Safest play, overall play of the day, favorite one on DraftKings. Who's your guy there?
On DraftKings, I mean, it's the same thing. It's either Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton. I'll say Chris Middleton just because I think he's going to be their number one guy.
Okay. And then value play there. Who do you have?
Value play here. Let's go with Bobby Portis again. He's a little more expensive, but 4.1K is just way too cheap here without Giannis.
Okay. And then tournament play, Van Thief on FanDuel. DraftKings, who's your value play?
Yeah, same thing. I'll go with Fred VanVleet here. It's either him or Siakam. I think they are the most likely ones. But the thing with Siakam, he hasn't seen minutes ever since coming back, so probably still getting his conditioning up. So I'll say Fred VanVleet, who's seen 41 minutes in his last 2 games, not combined, but in each of his last 2 games.
Yep. When you're saying best point guard play on FanDuel, let's just see who we have.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. Okay, let's get into the core plays, do some construction here. Vian Jones says, no, Chris, value DK plays Moses.
Well, I mean, Bobby Portis is 4-1. Moses is 5-1. I mean, they project similarly, so I'll say Bobby Portis there, but I have Moses Brown in my lineup currently.
Okay. Hitting build with your 4 core plays here. So you have Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, SGA, and Bobby Portis. Get into those, Chris, and then tell me which lineups you like the most.
Yeah, so I mean, these three Bucks guys, they're all going to be 100% owned in cash games. They're probably going to be more higher owned than this in tournaments than we project. So I mean, I think they're all locks for the reason that Giannis is out, and then SGA here 7-4, just way too cheap. I mean, we project him for 43, and he's 7.4K. That's pretty insane. So he's my guy there. And then yeah, we can look at these lineups. So we have Garland at point guard 2. Probably not something I'll lock in just because I want to wait for that Brogdon news. But yeah, we can. Let's see here. What should we do?
Got some bonus in the second one. Christian Wood, De'Aaron Fox in the third. Fifth, we're starting to get Cat.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is for me that I don't want to lock in Garland at this first game.
Should we just exclude Garland and build?
No, because I mean we'll just get the next teams. I mean I like this build a lot. If we didn't have the Brogdon news, like I would love this first build. So I mean we could take a look at these first two just because I don't know what my build is going to be without Garland. But yeah, there's just a 1v1 here at power forward. But I mean everything else here I think is pretty good. Like point guard with Drew Holiday, he's a lock for me. Paul George at shooting guard, I love that. 8.2K on FanDuel. SGA, way too cheap here. This is the chalk duo at small forward. I don't think there's any reason to get off of this duo. And then Bobby Portis, locked him in. Moses Brown, not sure if I locked him in, but he's way too cheap here on FanDuel. And then yeah, just this 1v1, Tatum versus Sabonis. So these two games lock at the same time. So if Miles Turner ends up being ruled out, and I end up on this lineup, I would pivot to Sabonis. Miles Turner is in. I'll stay on Tatum. Same thing for Brogdon. If he's ruled out, I'll pivot to Sabonis just because he'll have more of a role, even though he has a giant role, but he'll have a bigger role in the offense. And then if he's in, I'll stay with Tatum.
Yep. But just a disclaimer, the Brogdon news is pretty important, so definitely something to watch out for. DK, let's load up the core there, lock him in. So we have 4 guys here: Devontae Graham, Portis, Holiday, and Middleton. Maybe touch on those, Chris, while it builds, and then we can go over the lineups.
Yeah, so same $3 is on FanDuel. I think these guys are all going to be probably 100% owned in cash games. Tournaments are going to be very popular as well. And then Devontae Graham, I like him a lot here on DraftKings, where we can kind of play around with the lineup construction a little more. So I like that. And then we can look at these first two here. I think we have like a 2v2 or something, maybe a 1v1.
Okay. Can you check the Giannis thing? It went up again to 15.
Yeah, let me see that.
Is it a 1v1 here? I think we have...
Yeah, I'll go over this lineup first. So Devontae Graham, 4.8, have him as a core here on DK. Drew Holiday, same thing. Jaylen Brown, don't have him as core, but I think I really like him against the Grizzlies here, especially with no Kemba, so I like this price tag. And then we have Bobby Portis. Obviously, he's in the core. Moses Brown, 5-1. Just an awesome play here today. Chris Middleton, 7-6. He's in the core. And then we have this 2v2, Tatum and Zoo versus Connaughton and Cat. I think it's pretty obvious here with the first team. We get Zoo without Ibaka, who's a really good play. We get Tatum without Kemba, who's a really good play. Second side is fine too. I just don't feel too comfortable with someone like Pat Connaughton. I like Cat a lot, but I mean I don't love Connaughton here. I think Tatum has the upside to match Cat, and then I just feel much safer with Zoo over Connaughton.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see what we got in the chat. Josh says play both the value guys. Ian Jones says Moses in 2, Cat in the other for his lineups. David Korea saying, who's the spend up on power forward on FanDuel, Chris?
Yeah, it's either Tatum or Sabonis in my opinion. You could go to Wood as well, who's also interesting. But I think it's probably between Tatum and Sabonis.
Yep. Okay. Anything else to go over, Chris, for today's slate here?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Wrap it up.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we'll be in the Discord. If you're a member, be sure to join there. So, good place to ask more questions, hang out leading up to lock, after lock as well. So, be in the Discord afterwards. Before you guys go, if you enjoyed the content here, be sure to hit the thumbs up. It helps a lot. So, helps people find our channel. Do appreciate that a lot. And then, if you enjoyed the show here today, we do the same format every single day. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell button, and all every single day, 2.5 hours before main slate. And then if you want to try out our optimizer here and our projections that we've been using all throughout the show today, head on over to dfscrunch.com and get yourself an account, sign up, register, and then you'll automatically get a free 3-day trial if you're a new member applied to your account. So you won't be charged until after 3 days, 72 hours from when you sign up. So I do encourage everyone to try it out. Even cancel if you want to. If you have no intent on staying, just try it out for free. 3 days, you can cancel before. But do try it out. There's a lot of slates on our optimizer here. So for NBA today, what do we have? 1, 2, 3. We have 6 here on FanDuel. DK 6 as well. And then we have other sports as well. College basketball going on. NHL going on. MLB starting up soon. We got esports. What else do we have going on right now, Chris?
Today I think it's probably just NHL. I don't think we have too much here today. Maybe League of Legends as well tonight. But yeah, it's a Monday. Usually just NHL and NBA.
Yeah. Last question here. Big Buckets, nice name, says, what do you think of Terry Rozier?
I like Terry Rozier a lot. More in play on FanDuel. I think he's 5'9" there. DK is 6'6", so I prefer him on FanDuel, but I do think he's in a really good spot, obviously, without LaMelo.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Good luck today. See you all 2.5 hours before the main slate tomorrow, and let's win some money. Good luck, guys.